Hereby call this Planning and Community Affairs Committee meeting to order, held Monday, October 16th. I'd like to ask everyone to please rise for a moment of silence. Please be seated. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and nature thereof. Seeing none, we have announcements from council and staff. Councillor Watt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to announce that on Thursday, October 19th, prior to the agricultural dinner, the Cartwright Central Public Schools holding their Harvest Festival from 5 to 7. Paul Arculus will be speaking, as well as the school's Aboriginal educator. The Lions Club will do the barbecue, and there'll be some raffles and door prizes and so on and so forth. So everyone's invited if you can fit it in before you go for agriculture dinner.
And now, Councillor Drew.
Just a reminder that it's electronic waste at the Parks Depot on Saturday, and hazardous waste, and it's also the treasure hunt this Saturday. Pardon?
I believe it's at the marina, is what we tweeted out, the boat launch.
Well, it's
the hazardous waste.
Well, it's all in that area anyway, but it's always the Parks Depot.
Oh, sorry. I heard over there. Sorry, pardon me.
Okay. And then the treasure hunt. So if you've got any unwanted little treasures around your home that you want to put out on your front lawn, register with with Shauna Cornish and put it out and get it out by 7 o'clock in the morning. And what doesn't get picked up by treasure hunters, please bring it in by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Thank you.
Any other announcements from council? All right. Any announcements from staff? All right. We'll move on to the adoption of the minutes. Councillor Watton, you announced a pecuniary interest in those minutes in the past in those minutes, so that was regarding the board of directors on the Cartwright. I just was bringing that up because it was in the minutes, so I don't know. I'm assuming it'd be the same declaration of pecuniary interest on the minutes. Sure. Do you want us to extract out that particular item, or are you okay? Okay. All right. Anybody, Councillor, sort of a mover? Sorry, I turned that. Moved by Councillor Drew the minutes from the previous Planning and Community Affairs meeting held on September 18, 2017. Any errors and omissions? Questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. And, no public meetings, presentations. I'd like to welcome Stacey Jibb, Economic Development Coordinator from the region of Durham. Please come forward and enlighten us with all the wonderful things you've been doing around the township.
Okay, good evening everyone. Thank you for having me here tonight. So I'll just be covering some of the highlights from the Scugog Council Business Tour that occurred on September 22nd. As most of you know, the Vibrant North Durham Economic Development Plan is kind of the framework that guides some of our economic development initiatives, particularly in North Durham. One of the strategies for the plan is to be open for business, which encourages retaining and growing existing businesses, facilitating local business expansion, and welcoming new businesses to the community. In addition, the Scugog Council Business Tour is something that's included in the Economic Development Advisory Committee work plan for the year. So the itinerary for the day included a stop at Crystal Lake Lavender, then we moved on to Woodland Mills, we had lunch here at the municipality building, then we went to Wright's Feeds and Needs, and wrapped up with a tour of 100 Perry Street. So first off, Crystal Lake Lavender, for those of you who were on the tour, will be a bit of a repetition for you, but they're located just north of Greenbank. They started in 2008, as a way for the owners, Gert and Crystal von Engelbrechten, to share their passion about lavender. What they're really in it for is to educate people about the benefits of lavender, and they've really grown their business and the agritourism side of it. So they have lots of visitors throughout the late spring to late summer who can check out their artisanal shop, which features lots of products from local artists and artisans from around the area. Our next stop was at Woodland Mills. So it's co-founded by two local gentlemen, Neil Bramley and Josh Malcolm. So they started Woodland Mills as a way to address their needs for a sawmill. So they've kind of combined their expertise, one with expertise in project management and mechanical engineering, and the other with expertise in overseas product sourcing. So they've been able to develop a functional yet economical sawmill that they sell all over the world, in Europe, Asia, Australia, and throughout North America. So as many of you know, they have future plans to expand in the Port Perry Employment Lands on Line 6. So we're looking forward to that. Here's just a picture of all of the tour attendees that were at the stop. So after lunch, we went on to Wright's Feeds and Needs, which offers crop inputs, lots of different opportunities for any type of farmer, from a hobby farmer to a full-time agricultural operation. So their main product lines include Suregain livestock and feed supplies, lawn and garden supplies, as well as pet and bird feed. In addition, they also support crop inputs, seed and fertilizer sales. Just a picture of Harold Wright, one of the owners there. And last but not least, we went on to 100 Perry Street. So this innovative housing arrangement, as many of you know, is a partnership between 4 local women who were looking for a place, a home where they could age in place. So they've really designed it well in that it has larger door frames, elevators, and a built-in suite for a caregiver. And one thing I wanted to highlight was that they've had lots of media attention. So Martha Casson, one of the residents of 100 Perry Street, actually sent me a whole list of all of the public relations that they've had, so it's very interesting. This is one of the highlights that they've had in the Toronto Star, and they've also been featured internationally in Chinese television as well. So it was really interesting to see how innovative and the positive attention that they've been getting. So just to wrap up, it's a really positive news story, and it's a great opportunity for face-to-face interaction with local business owners. It's a good chance to have a first-hand look at their successes and challenges, welcome new businesses to the area, and look at different approaches to housing. That's it.
Great. Thank you very much for that, and I believe most of us were on the tour, so it was great to refresher. I just wanted to highlight how appreciative we are of your services from Durham Region and helping us out in Scugog as part of the North Durham one. I know you've been quite active with the successful grant applications, the Building Business Forum in North Durham. So I know this is just one of the areas that we're reporting on, but we really appreciate that. And on behalf of council and staff, we would like to thank you for all the work you're doing. And you can really notice the difference by helping supply the resources that we don't have. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
So first questions for the presentation. I'm looking here. We have the report as well. So what I'd like to do is just bring the report forward. So we're dealing with questions on the report, which is very similar together. So I have Councillor Watton had moved the presentation. You're okay with having the report move forward? Councillor Guidos, is it okay if I merge those two together? Thanks. So I have that the presentation be received from Stacy Jibb, as well as the report, Scugog Council Business Tour, be received, and a copy of the report circulated to Economic Development Advisory Committee, Scugog Chamber of Commerce. So questions from council, please. That's how great a job you're doing. Just,
I guess that's a good thing.
and I know it's beyond what the report is, but the turnout and the feedback from what North Durham is doing with, you know, the partnerships between Uxbridge and Scugog, and I know this is our local townships tour for us to see and highlight, and the other municipalities do a similar tour for the businesses that are within the municipality. I know from circulating around on the event last week in Blackstock, that it's great because many of those businesses, they play off each other, and it's a great awareness tool for us as council, and many, like the lavender farm I wasn't even aware of, and I think that's fantastic. So, and the Wood Tech business, like, Wood, they changed their name, it used to be Wood Tech.
Woodman Mills, yeah.
To see them, a recent purchaser on Line 6, it's a great success story, as you mentioned, and I think that's great to see long-time business like Right Feeds, et cetera, so it's a great, good news highlighting story, so thanks again.
Absolutely.
Any
Well,
questions on the report? All right, seeing none, all
Okay.
those in favor? Carried, thank you very much.
Yeah?
See you next week, or Wednesday. Next item on the agenda, we don't have any delegations. We've dealt with the first report, second report, social media policies. Ms. Lori Bowers, moved by Councillor Somerville. Well, are you doing a report on this first?
No?
Okay, so why don't it's moved by Councillor Somerville, the report be, as recommended, be received, and that the social media policy be approved, and link to social media policy be posted in about the section of all social media channels. So we'll go to questions from council on it. Councillor Somerville first.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sorry, Lori, I'm going to bring this back up
No,
again.
that's okay.
Because I think you forgot.
I did. I should have said
I saw your little look on your face.
No, go ahead.
On page 19, I think 4.6, she meant to delete that, I
Yes,
think.
thank
And
you.
so if we could just make it an amendment to that report for the social media policy, I think that would be appreciated by the
Yeah, thank you.
correspondence. Thanks, Lori. That's all my questions are. Thank you.
So can you just further clarify, so we know 4.6 is the township will not...
Township will not post, and then she meant to delete it.
Yes.
Okay, so that line, so I don't think we need
So
to
just
put
take
that.
it out.
It's a...
Thank
duly
you.
noted, so Councillor Back, Councillor Watt, did you have your hand up there? Okay, then Councillor Drew.
Thank you. I didn't think I had a question, but now one popped in my head. So when things come from township posts on Facebook, are we as councillors allowed to repost, to share?
Through your mayor to the councilor, of course. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure that that's not against the rules, or it's not,
No.
it's frowned upon. So it's fine, because I've done it, so,
Absolutely.
okay, thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Drew. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On page 18, item number 6, let me see now, oops. Well, that's, sorry, gotta find it here. Yeah, item number 6. Transparency and its commitment to openness. Township accepts the risk of sharing negative feedback and criticism in a public forum when utilizing social media, and will be accountable for its actions. So, supposing a constituent or somebody puts something on, in response to something that you've put on social media, and it's negative, or it's wrong, or even maybe mean-spirited, how do you react to that? And, you know, because we can't have false information, because somebody's made a comment and it's not right. A lot of people just believe the written word.
Thank you, Mayor, through you to the councilor. Absolutely, that does happen, and social media is been around now for probably about 13 years in government use. And when I first started, the idea was when there was a negative comment, you would take it offline, you would jump to direct message that person and have a conversation, but that in itself is also not transparent. And I learned through my experience that it's better to have an open, keep the conversation open and the comment open, especially if there is an error that can be corrected. So I strive to understand the complaint or the issue or the comment first, and then I usually go back to our directors to see if there's an opportunity to correct the information or provide some additional information to help the other residents and commenters understand the gratitude of the situation. I'll give you a small example, if I may. Last week, we posted a picture of paving of a road in Caesarea, a positive picture. Unfortunately, there was a few negative comments, and comments to the fact that, you know, their road that they're on had been paved, and it's been a long time coming. And so I was able to connect with Director Coleman and understood that Caesarea is in a three-phase paving project, and that the road that was in question is on the radar and the timing of that. So I was able to go on and reply to the comment, "Thank you for your patience. FYI, that particular road is, you know, slotted for this timing for paving, and thank you for your comment." And I received other watchers, other commenters to that. So it was a negative comment at first, but it provided me an opportunity to clarify that Caesarea is on the radar for future paving. So it's just a great opportunity to keep the lines and channels open. If there is very negative comments, you know, blatant comments that are just opinion and based, my training is to you need to just ignore that. If it's swearing or belligerent, I'll remove the comment and block the user. But, you know, it is public forum and people are entitled to their opinion. But I do try and correct it if misinformation has been posted.
Thank you. Further, is there any way of knowing whether it's a Scugog resident that is making the comment or asking the question? I mean, you could have somebody from Prince Rupert or something that's, you know, commenting either negatively or positively or incorrectly from whatever. Is there any way of knowing where these comments are coming from?
Through you, Mayor, to the councillor. If there's a particular complaint, you know, a customer service issue, oftentimes what I will do is I will thank the person for their comment, and it sounds like you need some customer service, so please message us privately your contact information so we can connect with you and provide customer service. That provides me then that private opportunity to engage one-on-one. I wouldn't ask for them to post, of course, their contact information on the main page. It's a private message. Other than that, I tend not to ask specifically where people are located from a privacy perspective. However, I do try and keep the corporate comments general. Residents of Scugog, you know, engage them in other ways. If it's a hot button item, perhaps there's a public consultation meeting coming up, I try and engage residents, you know, thank you for your comment. If you're a resident in Scugog, feel free to drop into the library at this time for this public engagement on this item. You know, I try and speak directly to our residents. It's hard to pinpoint if you're living outside the area.
So by speaking or inviting Scugog residents, you're trying to get the message that that's who you want to hear from.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, a lot of times we're looking to offer resources, whether that be at a public information session. Perhaps we've made a special page online. I direct them to a link. And oftentimes our services are in kin with Durham Region, and sometimes I'll push them to the region as well for their website, so I'll encourage them to look further in for information.
Okay, thank you. I also had a question, if I might, Mr. Mayor, on page 21. And it has to do, number 7, if in the event of an emergency or significant event. It brought to mind that, I guess it's not particularly you, Lori, but we haven't had an emergency control group meeting for a while, and all of that is going to need to be updated. And this particular number 7 brought that to mind, so that information would have to be in there for everybody to know. Okay, thank you.
Other questions from council? Okay, just, I know that, we have 3 official channels, right, is that correct?
Yes,
The 3
we have the corporate channel, and then Parks and Rec have a channel, and so does the museum.
So I just noticed on our website that we have the one corporate channel on the bottom feed, and I know eSolutions provides a template on there. This morning I was just posing the question if we could have the feed for the other 2 channels on our website as well. I know they're retweeted often, but just thought for, say, a newcomer or somebody who's looking at Scugog to come reside to or do business with, if they would see that. Because, correct me, am I wrong, that's not on our main page, right? The other two official?
No, so, I work in conjunction with the other two moderators, and they provide content that I will then retweet. So, for example, if there's registration for Parks and Rec programs and the rec has put that out, then I will, of course, retweet that information. So, at the moment, it may not be showing anything too significant for Parks and Rec, maybe just in the last 48 hours it'll scroll. But as soon as I do retweet or share something from either the museum or rec, it'll become part of that scrolling feed. But if I understand you correctly, you're hoping to perhaps add that feed, those other two feeds as well to
Well,
the
it's
page?
just, I guess, not knowing what's being tweeted on the other two channels
Mhm.
and what you are retweeting on the main corporate channel, which is going on the website, what's maybe missing on there, and I don't know if it's only for those user groups, but because there's an audience greater than, say, the current user group. So I just was thinking that maybe it doesn't have to be as prominent as that. It could be just, how you'll see, like an I guess, feed on certain websites that might have it, even if it brings attention to those other channels, so they can click on it, subscribe to it. So it's just a thought. If it was a simple embedded link for those other two channels, it might be maybe doesn't have to be as prominent, because especially if they're retweeting stuff that's...
I can certainly look
Okay.
into that. Mhm.
Councillor Back?
Thank you. Through the mayor, I believe the library also has a Facebook page, and I'm not sure if they tweet as well, so you may want to actually link that all together.
Yeah, which I don't know, it's not part of the policy, it would just be more of a informational. We'll leave that in your very capable hands on what's going to make logistical sense and not be redundant and
That sounds good.
too much.
I do meet with the other two moderators. We have a quarterly social media group that meets, so I can certainly bring this forward and discuss it with them and see if we can land on a solution.
And then the library, they have the feed specifically on their website, right, or...
Yes, yes. The library operates kind of almost like an entity on its own, but I've worked with Amy to cross-pollinate the information from the library as well when they have certain events and special things that are happening at the library.
Right, and it may even, solve what I was bringing up if there was just a link to the other two or three pages, so that people wanted more information, they could click on the direct feed link to the social media pages, which...
Okay.
Any other questions from council? All right, seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Next item is moved by Councillor Watt and Scugog Summer Jam final report. Any questions from council? I know that Michelle is here as the report, but Ms. Valentin is here to answer any other technical questions. I know we had asked you to bring back an amended report if there's some material changes, and as was already announced, one of the major donors for the 20,000 had come through shortly after that meeting, so instead of it coming back at the council meeting, it's coming back as soon as possible. So it's reiterating that it's a good news story, the fact that the large operation came in at a smaller loss, such a large event. So we're happy to see that all those pledges have come through, and really I'm assuming that this is no more material items that are expected to come through for this report, so this will be the final report. Any questions from council? Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Next, we have correspondence. Okay, so Councillor Drew has moved the recommendation with the amendment that it would be received and endorsed for 13.1, which is the correspondence from the region regarding, the CDSA, which is the Oshawa Airport Customs and Border Services, I believe the acronym was for. And there was discussion at the regional council about the federal government not consulting with the city or the region on the effects and ramifications of closing or changing the way this is discontinuing the operations there, making it more of a centralized operation. So I know there was a healthy discussion at the region where this letter came about, and there was a regional resolution that was endorsed, and Councillor Drew, you've endorsed it, so you might want to add stuff to them.
Would our endorsement go to all of the people that the original letter has been sent to? Or should I add that to the motion?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you to the council. We would generally send it just to who we receive it from. So if you'd like it sent to everybody, I would suggest adding that to the motion.
Okay, I will add that to the motion, that it also be sent to all of the parties that are CC'd on that original letter from Chair Anderson. And I'd just like to add that this is very important to Scugog as well as Oshawa and the rest of the region. We're trying to get more industry in here, and one of the good things and one of the things that we can offer is that type of service down at the Oshawa Airport for international trade. So, thank you.
Any questions on? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. So, we have any other items here? I don't, title, looking at the last motion to adjourn of the Councillor Guido. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you very much for...
This is the record since I...